Welcome to Hardwired. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Robbie.
And today we're going to be talking about the next-gen consoles that came out at the end of last year and talk about where they stand about a year later. Look at the past year and the coming years ahead as to what they have to offer. So looking at the two consoles, PS5 has sold about 10 million consoles in total, and the Xbox Series X and S have sold a combined total of 8 million consoles. So both are doing pretty well overall.
Yeah, I really feel like they're both performing pretty well. The Xbox is lagging behind a little bit, and that might be due to a little bit of confusion over which console is which, things like that.
Yeah, and certainly availability and part restrictions has really affected the supply chain there.
PS5 has seen a lot of that as well.
Yeah, that's true.
I know several people that have been trying to get PS5s who have just been unable to. Both Andrew and I have PS5s. We were lucky enough to find them. I know a lot of people that are still looking for them and are still unable to find them.
Yeah, it's been a rough year for trying to find new consoles, but overall for like a first year on market sales, those are pretty good. 10 million is about the mark that the PlayStation 4 hit pretty quickly within a year. Xbox Series X and S are both exceeding expectations for the previous iterations of the Xbox, so they're on track. But I think what's more impressive than Xbox's sales is the Game Pass. Xbox Game Pass has really kind of blown up this last year as more people were forced to be at home more often. They grew from like 5 or 10 million subscribers to over 20 million. It's a pretty decent boom.
I know I'm pretty jealous of Game Pass, actually. I really hope that PlayStation has kind of an answer for that in the future.
Supposedly they do.
Supposedly, but we haven't really seen anything. Not a lot of movement on that front anyways.
No, but it certainly helped Xbox keep pace with the PlayStation in a lot of regards, especially since a lot of their exclusives come day one to Xbox Game Pass. So by getting an Xbox in Game Pass, you get kind of every major game that would come out that you would want specifically for the Xbox.
That's what I was going to say too. Like PlayStation, even though they're talking about PlayStation Now in conjunction with their online gaming, it's like they're not talking about having day one releases of games. It's more looking like more down the road and possibly not even PlayStation exclusives going to it.
Yeah, according to Jason Schreier's report, that's not even on the table for the exclusives. He's the one who broke the story over at Bloomberg.
Which is just insane to me because if they're trying to compete with Xbox, they really need to start up in their game as far as that goes.
Well, I think the thing about the PlayStation Xbox rivalry is that PlayStation needs to compete with Xbox in order to keep market relevant, whereas the Xbox has so many arms in other areas through Microsoft that they don't need to compete with PlayStation. They just need to do things that PlayStation can't. PlayStation can't afford the loss of excess revenue from game sales in order to offset what they would have to spend to put out all their exclusives on a streaming service like that. But Xbox can eat that every time, and the subscriber count would be enough for them to not have to worry about it.
As a gamer, I don't care. I just want the games.
That's fair. That's fair.
If I'm paying for a subscription to PlayStation Now, and I'm also paying, I really feel like I should get, some at least close to launch games. Even if it's like a month or two down the road, I feel like they definitely need to be putting those newer games up on that platform.
I mean, I definitely agree with that, but I just don't see how they would monetarily back that. That being said, it certainly worked out in Xbox's favor this year. Forza Horizon 5, which came out in October, is the highest rated driving game of all time, which is pretty incredible and got mostly 10s across the board. I know I had a blast playing it. Halo Infinite's multiplayer has completely revitalized that brand, and its single-player campaign is coming out this week, which has been getting pretty rave reviews also.
As far as driving games go, I'm more of like a Midnight Club or like a Need for Speed kind of guy. I mean, I've played Gran Turismo and I've played Forza, but I mean, they're just not for me.
You got to remember, Forza Horizon is more equivalent to like Need for Speed Most Wanted. It's all open world and stuff.
Yeah, but they're billed as like a competitor to Gran Turismo.
Yeah, the main Forza series for sure. Yeah, but
the only driving game that I've really liked of recent driving games that have come out have been the Dirt series. Those are very like simulator-esque, but still, I'm not really into them.
Yeah.
I am jealous though of Halo Infinite. I really want to play that game, but because I only have a PlayStation, I can't. But it's like you said, it's getting some great reviews. and it looks awesome.
And in a year full of AAA $60 plus versions of first person shooters, again, Xbox and Microsoft out there with the big bucks out there able to make Halo Infinite a free to play experience for its multiplayer. So you get it straight out of the gate, plus special rewards on Xbox Game Pass. So I mean, they had that one in the bag from the get go. Unfortunately, their install base is still hit and miss. It may be a while before it really fully takes off, but certainly like critically speaking, and from the viewpoint of like what's been available and how long it's been on the market, it's certainly doing really well.
I just miss Halo as a former Xbox guy. It's
I know, bud. I know.
It's one of my regrets after making the switch to PlayStation.
Sometimes I look out at the night sky and all I can see is Master Chief. I get
Yeah.
PlayStation's had a pretty good year overall too. I will say that their year has been a lot more technical showcases. I mean, don't get me wrong; these games have all been great. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Returnal was phenomenal for sure. Ghost of Tsushima's director's cut, along with Death Stranding's director cuts, both made those games even more amazing than they already were. But there haven't been any real like massive hits this year. I still think it was a solid year, certainly better than we've had at other launch windows, but I am looking forward to the future of what's coming, which, I mean, just looking at the slate for the next couple of years for PlayStation, Horizon Forbidden West, Knights of the Old Republic remake, Final Fantasy 16, God of War Ragnarok, Spider-Man 2, Wolverine, Ghostwire Tokyo, Forspoken, plus a ton of other projects that haven't even been announced yet that might get announced this week at the Game Awards. I mean,
I was wondering what Coder was whenever you gave me these notes for this. I was like, what is that?
KOTOR, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh. And then you said Knights of the Old Republic. Yeah. I was like, oh, yeah, that's what that is. But, for me, coming from Xbox to PlayStation, particularly to PlayStation 5, one of the biggest things was, just the new DualSense controller. It's insane. I'm only playing on a 1080 TV, and even the the down-res graphics, I should say, are amazing. I've been playing a lot of Battlefield. Played Spider-Man, several other games that are either remade for PS5 or were actually released on PS5, and they are just, oh my gosh, amazing to look at. That's one thing that I think the PlayStation has over Xbox at this point is that controller, though. Just the amount of like haptic feedback that you get, and then the adaptive triggers and stuff like that. It's crazy. But I mean, the slate of new games for PlayStation coming out in the coming year is pretty exciting. I played Horizon Zero Dawn. I really liked it. I'm looking forward to Forbidden West. God of War, obviously, that should be amazing as well. The graphics, even on PlayStation 4 for God of War, were just
next level.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see what Ragnarok looks like. And as an old X-Men fan, I can't wait to play Wolverine.
Yeah, especially since it's set in that same Spider-Man universe, and I think everything Insomniac's thrown out there for the Marvel stuff has been pretty crazy. Which, I mean, honestly, this year and last year have been like the renaissance of Marvel games. I feel like every few months this year we got a new Marvel game announced, and I know it's bothering some people, but for me, I'm just like, more superheroes? Yeah, thanks. I'll take that.
For sure.
Xbox definitely has a smaller slate, but their stuff is a little more close to the chest, I want to say, because they recently, big story this year, acquired Bethesda and all their subsidiaries. So they've got Bethesda and id and Arcane, all these massive studios that create these really high class single player games. So the first one out of the gate that's going to be an exclusive for Xbox is going to be Starfield, which is space Skyrim, as Todd Howard put it. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how some of their lineup comes out. Fable being made by the guys that made Forza Horizon, Playground Studios. They're taking on a whole new genre now. I don't think I've seen that they've made a game other than a Forza game in the entire time I've known about them. But they're taking on Fable, so that'll be interesting. There's an Indiana Jones game on the docket for Xbox that's allegedly going to remain exclusive. Like I said, Starfield's going to be interesting to take a look at. Haven't seen a whole lot of it, but from what we have seen, we know that it's going to be very lore dense, like Skyrim was. Redfall, which is kind of like a different take on the mob fighting kind of gameplay. State of Decay 3, more zombies. I mean, I'm kind of over the zombie genre stuff, but I get the appeal.
I will kill zombies any day of the week. As a what's that freaking show called?
Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead. That's the one. As a Walking Dead fan, I'm all about killing zombies.
New name right away. Big fan.
Get off me.
Stalker 2, which was in development for God knows how long and is still on its way, and we don't really fully know when. And sequel to the psychological hack and slash game Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. They're making a sequel to that one, and it looks phenomenal. Really, all they've shown off is motion capture stuff, but just they innovated on that technology heavily whenever they were making the first one. So, looking at the first year, I think I don't know, for me, like a B plus for PlayStation, probably an A for Xbox in terms of like delivery. I think Xbox has managed to stay out of the negative press a lot of the times, and PlayStation's kind of walked into some whammies with the pay upgrades and not offering save transfers super easily. It's been a lot of up and down for them, but I'd say a solid B plus for the first year.
As an old school Xbox guy, I'm looking forward to Fable, seeing how that plays out. It was classically a pretty fun RPG, classic style, set in medieval times and stuff like that. Really enjoyed all the Fable games prior to this, and I look forward to seeing how that comes out. Indiana Jones, I'm like, is that just going to be like Uncharted?
Oh yeah, it's absolutely going to be Uncharted, unless they decide to be like insane and make it a first-person shooter.
Yeah, which I mean could be really fun.
Yeah, I mean I don't doubt that it'll be interesting to see. It's the guys that did Wolfenstein, I think, are the ones that are taking on Machine Games.
Nice.
So I'll be interested to see how that turns out too.
Yeah, I mean that should be really great. Hopefully they do something really good with that IP. But anytime you take on an iconic series like that, you have to be really careful. So, and the same thing goes with Fable.
Yeah, for sure. I think that all those games are in good hands. I'm just interested to see whether or not the exclusivity hurts or helps them. I think a lot of the times that, like you think of exclusive, you think games created specifically for that system. I was kind of initially like bothered by Spider-Man's exclusivity, but now it feels like a part of the PlayStation home. I mean, Sony's had the rights for so long now that it might as well just be a Sony brand, not a Marvel brand. But I'm interested to see how Indiana Jones handles being an exclusive versus being available to everyone, because that's a little more of a broad stroke IP.
Yeah, it's a little weird too that it's going to be an exclusive, considering that Sony is kind of partnering with Marvel, who's Disney, and Disney owns Indiana Jones, so it's kind of...
It's my understanding that this was an existing deal with Bethesda as an exclusive thing.
Got it.
And then once Xbox acquired it, they're like, oh, well, you got the exclusive rights to make that game, and we have the right to make it an exclusive.
Yeah.
Kind of what Phil Spencer wants to do with a lot of this stuff that they acquired from Bethesda. After saying that he wouldn't do that, he's now kind of hinting that he might do that with some key titles that he thinks would benefit Xbox as an exclusive. But just kind of to wrap things up, what score are you giving the Xbox? What score are you giving the PS5 for their first year on the market?
I mean, I think I give them both like a solid 8. I think that they're both kind of evenly matched at this point, with the exception of, like I said, the controller for the PS5. I think that's the only thing that performance-wise and experience-wise that edges out PS5, but Xbox kind of is right there with them with Game Pass, so that kind of balances it out for me.
For sure. Well, and that's going to do it for us this week, guys. We're going to be doing more of these podcasts more often, talking about gaming news, upcoming gaming events, so stay tuned to Hardwired for all that.